Okay, so we're live. We'll make a moment or two to say hi to anyone and see as they come in. I'll keep an eye on the comments as well. Please do say hi in the comments if you join us and let us know. In the meantime, I think I will try and take everyone off mute and see if there's too much background noise, and we can have a chat amongst ourselves whilst we wait for people to join, if that works best. See how everyone's doing for the day, as we haven't actually gotten round to that yet. So yeah, how's everyone doing? What have you guys been up to today?
Hi as well. Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, I went for a little bit of shopping this morning, get prepared for the week ahead.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh, we've got someone already. Hi, Wanda. Thanks for joining. Please do say hi if you're coming in. And anyone else do anything fun this morning? I actually had switch work plans at the last minute because no one shown up to one of the training courses. So it's been a bit of an interesting morning.
I'm shuffling uni assignments with this. I'm trying to declutter, do my Christmas declutter.
Oh, we've got someone else
everywhere.
Oh no, we've got Moira with us as well. Hi Moira, thanks for joining.
I'm just busy sharing away to my groups.
Spreading it all, Willie. Always good. I think I'll definitely be sharing it once we've done as well. Get it across everywhere.
Yeah.
Get everyone we know involved.
Definitely.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
It really is. I think it's about communities, and on a global level this time, as Giving Tuesday is a global movement, which is something new to be involved with.
Exciting times.
It really is. It really is. We've got 5 people watching at the moment, so a couple of people haven't said hi. Please do comment if you want to. Hey Eddie.
Hi.
How's your day been?
That's all right. Did my school run. I'm just waiting to go back and pick the kids up again, take them home. Nab's in for its test. Well, it's in for getting work done for its test. So it's taxi test. So yeah, it's quite busy. I've got to go and pick that up at 2:00, and then I've got to go and do my schooling after that.
Yep. Lots of running about.
And we're watching a pup. I don't know if you can see her.
Oh.
She's our new dog. We're training up to be a guide dog.
Lovely.
But she's giving my other dog a hard time at the moment. My other dog was a stream teller.
Oh, we've got someone else joined us as well. Hi, thanks for joining.
Hi, Kieran.
Hey, Kieran.
And yeah, in that case, we were a few minutes in. I think we'll get started and people can kind of join in as they go. So we're doing this kind of a bit of an impromptu live, really, not with the same amount of warning as our usual ones. And we've got one of our scheduled lives this evening, actually, with our CEO, George Hosking, on violence prevention. So if anyone's watching this, definitely join for that one as well. But right now, we're hoping to kind of tell you a little bit about why some of us ambassadors are kind of fundraising for 70/30 and getting involved in Giving Tuesday, which is the global day of generosity. So kind of sharing why we care about this cause, what kind of difference we've seen this role can make, some of the ways that we're getting involved, some of the ways that you guys can get involved, and yeah, just really sharing the passion so that we can all get to this shared goal. As I'm sure if you've come across this stream, it's either been shared in one of the Infinite Goals groups, by Willie, or you already knew about the 70/30 campaign. So yeah, does anyone want to kick us off kind of with why, what should we go through first? Why they're 70/30 ambassador?
Go on, I'll kick off, Isabel.
Go on, Claire.
Okay, so I became an ambassador 2.5 months ago. And the reason for me becoming an ambassador was because 3 years ago I became trauma informed I have an ACEs score of my own, and basically after that, my life just fell into place, and I realised who I was as a person. So I decided to help other families in Wales and also break the cycle for my own children, as I've been a sufferer for almost 40 years. And that has now passed on to my own family. So yeah, that's why I originally became an ambassador.
Yeah, and if you're interested in finding out a bit more about Claire's story and why she's an ambassador and stuff, we did a great one-on-one live with her on the 7030 page. So if you just look for the 7030 page and have a look at our videos, there's an amazing interview with her. So definitely worth a watch.
Thank you, Isabel.
Anyone else want to go? I think I need to unmute you, but feel free to raise your hands and wave at me. Oh, have Andy join. Brilliant.
Hiya.
Go ahead.
I'm off mute, yeah. Yeah, I've only been doing it about a month. Got quite a high ACE score of my own. Much like Claire, it's had an effect on my 3 children. Well, one of them's 27 now, and I've got a granddaughter. And I can kind of see how it's passing down to my granddaughter now. So when this came along, it's a huge opportunity, and I had absolutely no idea how much needs doing and how little people know about this. The feedback I've had from teachers, women's community matters, charities in the town and everything, they're just like, come in, we need to speak to you, we need to get it, you know, they're all really interested in it. So there's a lot of work to be done. We've got a huge county of Cumbria. I do have Andrea Cook, who's up in the north of Cumbria, but we are one of the biggest counties, so there's just me and her at the moment trying to do it. We have got co-op funding, but yeah, the reason I wanted to do this is I don't want my family to suffer anymore. I don't want anyone to suffer anymore, any children or adults. And like Jay, the bereavements that we've gone through, my husband drowned, the children have been through that I found there was nothing really any good nothing really to help us at the time. Jill talked through it, and the kids didn't want to talk to me because it's they don't want to upset me, and then I don't know how to speak to them. So we along with the violence, the drugs, they've lost the dad and everything as well. So we are a great, clean, living, happy family now, but we need to spread that around and get the word spread well.
Thanks, Andy. Sorry, I'm messing around with the admin in the background there. So we've got a limit of 6 people on the live stream today, and Jay briefly joined us in the background, but we couldn't add him. So I will text him. And Claire, as you've already spoken, I might have you in the background until I'm asking another question, if that works. Give me a thumbs up if not, because you're on mute. Perfect. Let's
take me down if you want.
There we go. Hi, Jay. Did you hear that? Thanks for joining.
Know. Somebody called me.
No, we were just saying there's a limit of 6 people on the stream at one time. So we'll have people in the background who've already spoken without necessarily them being able to interact. So actually, Andy, we've just got Scott's joined as well. So as you've already shared a brilliant story there, I'll put you in the background for a little bit until the next question. But thanks so much.
No problem.
Hi, Scott. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I am literally just in the treatment centre, a volunteer, so I've just jumped straight into an office here now.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I'm just going to share a great comment that we've gotten here about wanting to tell your story. And I just wanted to say that one of the ways that you can get involved with Giving Tuesday, you know, obviously we're asking for donations. It's kind of a day of generosity, but you can also give your time, your expertise, and get involved in other ways. So absolutely, if you have a story to tell, get in touch with the 70/30 campaign, get in touch with Hearts of Ace. I'll let Jay tell you a little bit more about that as well. But that's our Council of Lived Experience. So if you're at all interested, definitely get involved. Jay, is there an email address or something I can share in the comments for people?
Sorry, can you give me 2 seconds? I can't really hear. I'm going to need to jump out and come back in, all right? I'm
no worries at
all.
all. We'll flash back to that in a moment.
Apologies.
Okay, we'll swing back round to that comment and lived experience in a moment then. Willie, do you want to share next? Perfect. Ooh.
Hi guys, so I'm William Anderson. I've been a Wave ambassador for about 7 months now, and when my friend Jay Haston was telling me about the Wave Trust and George starting it 25 years ago and helping 80,000 families, it was an easy choice to make. And in those 7 months, I actually found out a lot about my own adverse childhood experiences, not even having heard the term ACEs before I got involved with the Wave Trust. So that's helped me a lot along in my own personal journey, and I'd just like to reach out and help anyone else I can. And if you have a voice of lived experience, please come over to heartsoface@wavetrust.org and leave your story with us there, and we'll be glad to have you on board. I've been an ambassador 7 months, and it was only about 10 days ago that Edinburgh District Council passed a motion to work with the Wave Trust on the 70/30 campaign to reduce child abuse and neglect by 70% by 2030. And it's just a privilege to be part of such an amazing team.
Absolutely will, and I will definitely get you to talk a little bit more about Edinburgh, because I think that that's exactly proof of what this campaign can achieve. You know, having the capital of Scotland make such a commitment and have such honest conversations about what needs to change, I think is huge. I got involved 5 to 6 years ago now in the 70/30 campaign when it was early days and people had never even heard of ACEs. To have got to a point where a city like Edinburgh Council can kind of admit that it needs to become trauma informed and commit to taking steps towards that is absolutely amazing and a proof of what this campaign can do. So definitely thanks for all the work you put in to make that happen, Will, and thanks for sharing. Jay, are you having fewer technical issues? Are you happy to share a little bit about why you're an ambassador?
Absolutely.
And about Hearts of Ace?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I've sorted. So being an ambassador, you know, it's a privilege, it's an honour. It's a cause that I believe in for the bottom of my heart, because I've been affected by adverse childhood experiences, you know. And when I found out that the Wave 70/30 campaign was doing its the campaign to reduce adverse childhood experiences by 70% by 2030, and I saw that they were actually doing it for the top up and the bottom down and in communities and empowering communities, it was like this can really get delivered. And since I've came on board, it's as Willie said, and as you pointed out, Edinburgh, Western Bartonshire, in Scotland, we're like a rolling stone gathering moss just now. And I suppose that's what we're trying to do today with this live, is to encourage ambassadors for all over Scotland, England, Ireland and Wales to get involved and make the changes that we've seen happening in Edinburgh. And this is why the biggest reason, on top of empowering the communities, the biggest reason I'm an ambassador is because when Wave first asked me to talk to a politician and tell them my story, I thought, are they going to listen? And when I sat down and they did listen, and then they actually took action, I thought, you know what? Everything I've been through now, maybe isn't for nothing. You know, maybe now they are taking it, and they are, to their credit, you know, Sue Webber and Councillor Joe Moore in Edinburgh, absolutely fantastic when me and Molly spoke to them. Absolutely superb. And these politicians, they really do want to make a difference. And probably they don't know just how, most of them probably just don't know how bad it is and how bad adverse childhood experience affect us all the way into adulthood. So encouraging other people to tell their stories to politicians, and I understand it's not an easy thing to do, is to tell your story. You know, when I first told everybody my story, I was kind of like ashamed and at the bottom of the barrel, but I'd done it and it was out there, so it was you know, I'm as well
talking and making it worth something. And that's what it is. It makes me feel worthwhile, you know, and it will make anybody who's had adverse childhood experiences, and maybe if you're going through this and you've had problems, you're having problems, and you don't know what to do, a sense of purpose, Wave will give you that, the campaign will give you that, and empowering your communities will do that.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you. And yeah, I think it's worth mentioning there exactly how 7030 tackles these issues, as we've had a few great testimonials kind of about why we're passionate about this, but we haven't necessarily talked about the mechanics. And 7030 really provides solutions to the problems of ACEs, to the problems of trauma, and not only solutions in terms of how can we stop that suffering as it's happening, but how can we stop it from happening in the first place? And I think that's so powerful. And 7030 does this by kind of joining a top-down approach with a bottom-up approach. The top-down approach is kind of what Jay was saying, of really getting politicians to listen and getting policy change from the top down, making sure that the funding's going towards prevention, make sure that the attention is where it should be. And then the bottom-up is part of what we hope you guys can get involved with, part of what you guys can support by donating to the 7030 campaign for Giving Tuesday, and that is empowering local communities to protect our children. That can be by creating trauma-informed communities. It can be by giving a voice to people with lived experience. It can be by linking up existing organizations with passionate people so that we can start making everyday changes that support people with trauma and support parents so that they can give their children the best life that they can. And it's really combining those two approaches that gives 7030 such power, I think. Yeah, so who haven't we listened to yet? Oh, we've got lots of hands. Eddie, do you want to go next? Let me unmute you there.
Yeah, okay. So,
there we go.
Okay, so I'm actually probably the odd one out here. And I never suffered any adverse childhood experiences. I had the two most fantastic parents anybody could ever wish for. I had a great upbringing and all the rest. The trauma that I suffered really was when I was in the Rhodesian Army, but during the war years. But I always thought, I never knew anything about ACEs. I never knew anything about WAVE. I never knew anything about any of these things. I actually thought it was all down to the social work. And then I just happened to be on Facebook and I saw this video and it was Jay on the video. And I could see the passion and all the rest of it. And I thought, I really want to get involved in this. I believe this is something I really want to get involved in. So I've got involved. I'm actually loving it. I'm very, very proud and feel privileged to be a part of it. Want to do as much as I possibly can. And what I've said in my video that I've sent yourself is I want to get other people to become ambassadors, because it's all about education. It's all about raising awareness. But also I want as many people out there to start pushing their local councillors, their MPs, their MSPs to get up and do something, the same as Edinburgh and West Dumbarton should have done. Now, I'm not going to name names. We've had meeting with one councillor who said that they would pass through a motion. Nothing's happened yet. I've emailed another 2 councillors to ask for a meeting. Nothing's happened yet. So I'm saying to people, people need to say to their councillors, you either support us or we're not going to support you. Because as people that put them in those positions, and if they can't support something as important as this, they really shouldn't be in the position that they're in. And that's where I'm coming from.
Thanks, Eddie. And yeah, I don't know if I'm the only other person on this call, but I also don't have a personal history of ACEs. I'm passionate about this both because of my work, because of what I studied. I studied psychology, and I think it's impossible to study psychology without seeing the effects of trauma, but also seeing my loved ones go through this and the effect that some of their experiences had on their later life is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this. And I think it's really wonderful to bring together lived experience with people who are passionate for different reasons, because you get lots of different perspectives and lots of different strengths to get us where we need to be, really. Debbie, I know you raised your hand as well, so I'll unmute you so we can hear a bit more from you too.
There we go. Hi. Well, I'm Debbie. I'm from West Lothian, and I'm 42 years young. I have a high score of ACEs, suffered throughout my life with different mental, physical, emotional, sexual abuse. Through this, doing the Wave Trust, I've actually started to come to terms with more of my issues as well, which has been fantastic. You know, the Wave Trust has just been absolutely amazing. But we need more people. We need more people to come on board and be ambassadors. Your voices do get heard. We have proven that. You know, the things that we have done and achieved in a short space of time within the past year has been absolutely amazing. I'm a strong believer in early intervention. I think that we have to get in there as soon as possible, stop things from happening in the first place, get all the right support, get all the right systems in place, because these systems and support was not there when I was growing up. Certainly nothing like that. Everything was pushed under the carpet, and you just got on with things. This needs to stop. We can't keep pushing things under the carpet. We've got to do something. We have to take action. We have to protect our children. It stops with us. We can't let this keep going. Most of us obviously that have got the ACEs, we've all suffered, or you guys know people that have suffered or that are going through issues. And how many of this could have been prevented? How much of this could have been stopped? So yeah, I'm really passionate. I mean, Jay got me on board. I think it was a little under nearly a year actually. I think, Jay, I'm not sure. I came on board with you. Again, like Eddie said, I seen the passion that Jay had. I seen what he was achieving, and I was like, you know what? I'm a survivor. That's me. Yeah, let's get this done. So yeah, if we can get more ambassadors, more people to shout from the rooftops, get people to listen, get action put into place. That's why we need the fundraising as well, for the fundraiser. We need donations, please, guys, as much as possible. Every penny helps. It doesn't matter if it's just, like £1, every penny helps. The more money we get, the more we can do, and the stronger our voices will be as well, because we can do so much more. And like the rest of them, I am so privileged. I feel so honoured to be a part of the Wave Trust, the Hertfordshire National Lived Experience. So honoured to be with everybody. And I'm glad now that people are starting to make a difference. As I say, it ends with us. We've got to put our foot down, and we need to help these kids. It's our children's futures. It helps us as well, obviously, as survivors, but we need to stop it from happening in the first place.
Thanks, Debbie. And yeah, definitely, I think we've had so many examples already today of how you can give your time, be generous in your time, and help people with your spare time. Become a 70/30 ambassador. You get to be part of an amazing team, and do all kinds of things. And we've seen everyone takes a slightly different approach to making a difference in their community, but one person can change everything. I think we've got a spectrum on the call today. I've been involved for 6 years. We have people who've only joined very, very recently, but you can already make such a huge difference in that small way. And that's why we're so passionate about raising money for here. If I think about it in terms of the whole time that I've been involved, having support, having training materials, having the opportunity to meet up with other ambassadors, having the support to build a relationship with your local representatives, having ways of spreading awareness and education, as Eddie said, is essential in getting where we want to be, because it doesn't just happen overnight, and you have to take steps in the right direction to make it happen.
That's right. Yeah, we basically need the tools. We need to get all the tools that we can, get all the the training that we can get to get people trauma informed. That's what it's all about. We need to get trauma informed society. So yeah, we need the help. We need we need people's time. We need the money so we can then be heard. Yeah.
Absolutely. And after Scott's spoken, who's the only person we've left out for now, sorry, Scott, I'll get into our 5 ways that you can give on Giving Tuesday as well, so we can have that in a bit more detail. But yeah, Scott, would you like to share, why you're part of the team and stuff? Let me see if I can unmute you there. There we go.
Hiya. First of all, sorry for being a bit late. this COP26, everything's held up now, so it takes me a lot longer to get. And I didn't want to jump on while I was on the bus. So I am Scott. I've only been part of this team for about four months now, and I've experienced adverse child. I've experienced all sorts of trauma, and I do a lot of work in treatment centres. I do a lot of voluntary work with people, and I see that it's 90% of addicts and ex-addicts that I work with is through trauma. They use the drink and drugs to dull the trauma, to bottle it up. So that's why I'm part of this campaign, because we need to change it for the next generation. I don't want my daughter to start, if she does, God bless, go through trauma. I want her to speak out and be able to be open and honest about it, rather than wait till she turns to drink and drugs to subdue the trauma. And as I say, I've experienced a lot of it myself, and a lot of people I work with and do peer support with and all that sort of stuff. It's all trauma related. 90% of addicts I know is through trauma, untreated trauma. And that's why we speak out, because every voice matters. And if we speak out about our trauma, then it helps other people speaking out about theirs. And there's loads of good stuff going on with the Wave Trust, so it's good to be part of the team.
Thanks, Scott. I'm just thinking of who we need to move around, because we don't all fit on the stream at the same time. So we've got Claire and Andy in the background there who are happily listening to us. What I might do is maybe move Will and Debbie off for a little bit for the next question, then bring you back if that's cool. Claire and Andy, can you give me a thumbs up if you're happy to be added on again as well? So just see that you can still hear me and everything. Brilliant. So we will shuffle things around a little bit. It's great to have such a big team, really, that we can't all fit on one of these live streams. So yeah, I kind of wanted to talk next about the 5 ways you can get involved in Giving Tuesday, really. The first one is the one that we've spoken about first, and that's give your time. Become a 70/30 ambassador. Please join the team. Please make a difference in your own local community. Having the support of someone in your local area is what makes the biggest difference. As you can see, I think people have mentioned Jay, first getting them involved. He's currently our lead ambassador for Scotland. But we also have Alex Williamson, who couldn't make it on the call today, but who's our lead ambassador across the UK. And it just makes such a difference once you have someone on the ground in an area to actually start change there. So if you see things that you're not happy with and you want to make a difference, please do join and get involved. The second way you can get involved is by sharing your voice, sharing your story. And that's somewhat separate from 70/30, though very, very interconnected. And that's kind of by joining our Council of Lived Experience with Hearts of Ace. Jay, do you want to just say a couple of words on how you join and what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. Hearts of Ace, the National Council of Lived Experience, is, well, basically what it is at its core is a peer support group of survivors of adverse childhood experiences from all sorts. And a lot of people think it's just sexual abuse. I want to just get it out there right now. It isn't just sexual abuse. It's domestic violence, emotional violence. There's a wide range, and there's on the ACE spectrum there's 10, but there's lots of other traumas that can affect children in childhood as well. It's not just limited to the 10 that's in the original study. Anyway, I'm going a wee bit off point. The council basically came together, people from all over the nation. Claire's here, she's for Wales. We've got Andy down in England. There's loads of other people as well that are involved with the council. And the purpose of the council, I suppose, was to bring people with lived experience together to support each other, and also to get out in our communities and be the voice of lived experience for adverse childhood experiences. And again, further that agenda, we're trying to get the 70/30 campaign and sort of partner up with it and offer our stories basically to MPs, politicians, anybody that wants to hear about it's going to benefit to learn to become trauma informed. So there's a wide range of stuff that the council can do, but to join it and get involved, you just need to email heartsoface@wavetrust.org, and then for there somebody will pick up the email and run through the application. And honestly, it's a great place. It's, I'm involved with peer support groups, and this one is really, really it's so powerful. It's so powerful. I was involved with one at the hospital with just men. Excuse me. And there was a theory that you couldn't have men and women survivors in the same group. And this kind of group kind of shows that you can. And the power in it, I'm sure Claire, Andy, Scott, Will, they can all tell you, Rob, if he's coming on, you know, it's that sense of belonging, and that sense that it wasn't just you and you're not alone. And that's the most powerful thing about it. And what we can drive each other to do as well, with the support we give each other, is it's absolutely fantastic, you know. So it isn't just a council lived experience, that official name, you know. It's where it sounds official. That's why we went with Hearts of Base, because really at heart we're just a group of survivors who just want to help each other.
Thanks, Jay. I've also stuck in the comments for anyone who's interested Alex Williamson's email. So if you want to become a 7030 ambassador, you can either sign up through the website, www.wavetrust.org, or you can just drop Alex an email directly and he will see to your training from there. The other way... Ooh, we're getting extra comments. Sorry. Thank you, Donna, for sharing. What was I going to say? Oh, the third way you can get involved with Giving Tuesday is donate. Donate. Every penny counts, as Debbie said. Anything you can do really makes a huge difference to this, because whilst if this network thrives on the time and the generosity of its ambassadors, there is a limit to what people can do without support, without the materials to bring this forward, without being able to print the leaflets and share infographics and get the extra training that they need when they go ahead. For example, one of the extra trainings we've had to do for Giving Tuesday for lots of people is something like how to use Google Drive and how to share all the things. You know, we can't assume that everyone has the skill sets needed to do a full campaign, and we are extremely passionate about supporting each other in that. So please donate every penny you can. You donate on the Wave Trust website and click on the top right button that's bright red, clicking donate, and we'll share a link in the comments as well of how to do that. You just fill in your bank details, fill in how much you want to donate, anything truly from £1 to 150, anything you can give us will make a huge difference. We got someone else not on mute there. Oh, sorry, Jay, we're just getting a bit of feedback. There we go. And I will get into some of the achievements that we've been able to have as a team because of that support and because of that training in a moment. I think that'll be the next thing I ask everyone to share. But to finish off on some of the other things that we can do to get involved in Giving Tuesday is sharing your expertise. Now, we've talked about sharing expertise in terms of lived experience, but there's also expertise from a professional perspective. You might have lots of experience around work with trauma-informed professionals, around ACEs, around whatever you might be a social worker, you might be a lecturer, you might be someone in police, whatever it might be. Spread awareness around these issues, get the message out there as much as possible, and share your expertise and join in the conversation. It makes a huge difference to have all of those different perspectives, to have all that knowledge out there. Let's raise awareness, because a huge part of 7030's bottom-up approach is getting that knowledge as far and wide as possible. And finally, the last thing you can do is share this kind of thing. Share anything you can on social media. Let people know we're getting involved in Giving Tuesday. Share the donate link, share the live streams, share everything you can, get the message out there, get involved, use hashtag Giving Tuesday, and really get involved in everything we're doing on social media leading up to the 30th of November. So yeah, those are kind of the 5 ways that you can give. And I kind of want to hear from the rest of the team now about that. What do you think the biggest achievement that you've either seen on a network level or that you've managed to do? I know we've got some quite new ambassadors, so they might not have hit the ground running yet, and that's absolutely fine. What do you think has really helped you, given all the training and support that we've had? Who shall we go first? Claire, do you want to go again? There we go.
Hi, Isabel. Yeah, so for me, it was little things like the Google Drive and the training session for the computers. And it's those little things that really, really help. And my approach has been the schools at the moment, because I just think the schools are the main people that need to be trauma-informed before everyone else. They spend the most of the time with the children. They're the ones who are there supposed to spot signs of any any signs of any distress. And I just think that the Heart of Ace and the Wave Trust and what this charity are doing is just unbelievable. And I'm just so proud to be part of the team.
Thanks, Claire. I'm going to shuffle people around again as they answer. So I will momentarily bump Claire off and add someone back in and move along as we go. Thanks so much, Claire. Does anyone else want to go next who we can all see? I will add Debbie back on as well shortly. There we go. Andy wants to go. Go ahead, Andy, you're muted.
Yeah, like I say, I've only been doing this for, oh God, a month, 6 weeks maybe. And the biggest shock that I got was how many people in the area don't know about ACEs. So funding wise, for me, it's getting the funding in for us to get the visuals out there. One personal thing for me was when I was a teenager, I was held hostage for 8 months, and I just went to the councillor one day to fill out a housing form. Now that housing form said, "Have you experienced domestic violence?" on it, and for some reason I clicked yes, and then the floods and floods and floods of support came in. But before that, there was no posters in doctors, nothing in schools. I was only a teenager. So the funding to get it out there. So somebody who is sat in a doctor's surgery and thinks, "Oh yeah, I've got that." We need to be able to get that and get them contact and get them on board and get them help as soon as possible. I'm also very aware of the news at the moment on the kids that have gone through COVID and the trauma that's caused quite a few of those children. And like Claire was saying with the early intervention, you know, especially at the moment with what teenagers have been through, stuck in the house for 18 months or whatever, we need to be getting in these schools now and getting the word across. So any fundraising around that way to allow us to stop people's children, our own children, everybody's children, falling into that pit of depression because they don't want to talk to the teachers about it. So even if you know they notice a card somewhere in school, you leave a pile of cards or something like that, where they don't have to be embarrassed and talk to anybody, but they can come directly to us, would be amazing. So please, let's get into these schools and get some advertising, let people know we're there. It's crazy the emails that I've had off teachers saying please come in, but obviously we need the funding to then have the visuals and the posters and everything to take in to the school. So if anyone, whatever you can give, it's going to be a massive help going forward.
Thanks, Andy, and I 100% agree. Rob, I know you can hear us, but we can't see you or you can't interact yet. I will add you on just after I've answered Andy. Andy, I absolutely agree. I think knowledge is power with these things. And I saw that firsthand when I was in Aberdeen as an ambassador, the difference that, say, having a resilience screening made. And the Resilience is a documentary that explains the science behind this and behind trauma, behind ACEs, and behind how people can bounce back from this adversity is huge. Having people instantly come up with solutions. People are instantly happy to change the way they do things once they know better. And the same thing, if I think of young people who might one day become parents, having this knowledge before things happen would make a huge difference. Or negative experiences that I've heard of when you ask for help, be that in whatever service, be that in the NHS, be that for psychologists or whatever. If there was this knowledge and if there was this common language, we wouldn't be having those negative experiences.
Absolutely.
And one of the ways to get the information out there is to have the materials to spread it. And it makes a huge difference because you can have a quick chat with someone and that will make a difference. But if you can leave them with something afterwards that they can then share and they can move on from, it makes all the difference, really.
The Wave Trust website is absolutely packed with information for anybody already. So if you don't know where to start on the Wave Trust That's where I started on there. And there's a power of information for anybody what is interested or wanting to get involved, and it will draw you in, I promise.
Thanks, Andy. I'm just going to bump you down so we can say hi to Rob, who's joined us for the first time. But thanks so much for sharing.
No
Oh, hi, Rob. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we've all already shared one of the answers to our questions, Rob. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions and put you on the spot a little bit. But I know you're great at this, so I'm not worried in the slightest. One is, why are you a 70/30 ambassador? Why are you joining in on this Giving Tuesday? And the second question is, what difference has some of the training that Wave and the 70/30 team has given you made? Because we're trying to show people really what this funding could do and how it can help change things in communities.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I joined in 2015, and I joined the Wave Trust. And as I joined, the 70/30 campaign had just started sort of kicking off. But for me, one of the simplest questions I was first asked is, do I want to eradicate child maltreatment? It's a no-brainer. So for me, knowing that actually, I mean, 2030 always seemed like a long way away, but we're in 2021. We're 9 years away from making this happen, and actually I've watched it get shorter and shorter and shorter. For me, having my own experiences, having child abuse for myself, it meant that I became an adult, and I grew with all these experiences and feelings into an adult. Knowing that I could share my experiences with people who not only were wanting to fight the fight, but were also had the same experiences that I'd grown with, because most of the things I'd done growing up into an adult were all coping strategies. So there's a point when coping strategies just aren't enough. So actually, being on the side of wanting to make a difference and make a change was, again, I'm going to say the word, it was a no-brainer, and for me, knowing that the training that I get is relevant to what I need to make myself grow and to make the community around me grow. I live in the heart of the Southwest, in Devon, and it's I've always felt like it's a community that's built around very much aware that stuff goes on, but they don't want to make that certain little push to make it actually happen. And I feel that sometimes they need a nudge, and they need to be told the horrible truths. But there's nothing better when you're in a community where you're respected, and I am very well respected in my community. So suddenly when I turn around and say I was abused as a child, and then the look of shock, like I've just told them I've just caught a strange rash from the local pub or the local deli, and actually, but I've had to live with it, and I don't have to live with it. I don't have to, someone else made me decided I was going to be a victim. I decided to empower myself, and I do not believe I could have empowered myself if I didn't have the backing of the 70/30 campaign, because it pushed me in the right direction. It I felt a bit like Popeye, 70/30 was my spinach, and it enabled me to be strong and powerful and go forwards. And I've only ever grown. What I've always liked is I'm only ever a phone call away from a bit of training that's going to support me to be able to not only do my job better, but to be able to empower a community. I surround myself as a therapist in my community. I'm surrounded by people crying out for the support, and through my own experience as well, the NHS waiting lists are so long. People are sat there and they're pained for very long periods of time. But being a part of a community where I'm saying, hey, I might not have all the answers, but I can at least signpost you in the right direction. I've proved many a time that if you shout hard enough, you'll be heard. But there's a lot of people who just aren't shouting because they're not being heard. They're not being listened to, and to be in a position to break that cycle. I'm a parent, and I love my son more than anything in the world. But my biggest worry was I going to abuse my child? because my parents taught me, one, how to be an alcoholic. They taught me how to beat a woman up, taught me how to come home and wreck a house, you know, taught me how to beat me. I mean, I even watched my own father rape my mother. So, you know, to have to live with those experiences, what the 70-30's done is enabled me to say to parents, enough, let's do something about it. I got privileged to speak at the House of Lords, you know, and it was amazing because I stood on the steps of greatness in so many ways. You know, people over years, from Cromwell, Richard I, the Nelson Mandela, you know, and it was all about change, and change has to happen. 2030 is just around the corner, and we're touching it. And now's the time to make that every penny will go to the right direction, to get that bit of training on how to deal with the trauma-informed community. Priceless, absolutely priceless.
Yeah. And I fully agree. What really resonated with me there, what you were saying, is having the voice to shout with, to get people's attention. And every single person can amplify their own voice through the right training and can get the motivation to shout at the top of their voice. But then when you join voices with other people, it becomes deafening and you can't be ignored. And I think that's where we're heading to now. We've got 9 more years and beyond in a different way, but we've got 9 years to reach this goal of 70-30 to really reduce, you know, reducing something so huge by 70% is not a small task, but we are getting there. And we are going to get there with the passion of everyone here today.
You know, something I always say, a little bit of something is better than an awful lot of nothing. Do you know, the tiniest things can make massive difference.
100%. I think we've got an example in the chat as well. I think someone said they could donate a couple a month. You know, just having that ongoing support makes a huge difference. So if anyone wants to make a recurring donation as well as a big one-off, you know, that kind of thing, it means that you can keep the ball rolling further down the line. It's amazing. So thank you so much to everyone who's getting involved. Eddie, I think you'd raised your hand earlier. Is that right?
Just to say, you know, I'm enjoying everything I'm getting. I mean, I enjoyed the. I try to learn about all this technology, and I'm absolutely rubbish. I must admit, it's my weakest point is technology. And about Jay, I must admit, Jay's helped me with this. That's how I managed to send you the video. But I mean, how old does somebody have to be to become an ambassador? Because
is that a question for me or more openly?
Yeah, a question for anybody, because I know a 14-year-old young girl who wants to become an ambassador. I don't know if that's too young, or I don't know.
People can get involved in one way or another at any age. I will say that to become a formal ambassador, I believe you have to be 18 just for certain conversations that you have with MPs and stuff. But that doesn't stop you from getting involved. It doesn't stop you from finding out more. It doesn't stop you from sharing our infographics. It doesn't stop you from having conversations with your families, with your friends at schools. It doesn't stop you from sharing this Giving Tuesday campaign on social media. There's many things you can do at a younger age. And I will double check. I would say drop Alex Williamson an email anyway if you have got someone who's below 18, because there might be a way you can get involved. It just adds slightly different safeguarding situations for the charity, but that's perfectly manageable. It's just a case-by-case basis. Rob, I saw you lifted your hand. I'll let Eddie finish and then call you in.
I know. One thing I was just going to say is I'm very fortunate that I can actually, I'm quite happy to email people. I'm quite happy to speak to people. I don't care what level of government they are. I'm quite happy to do that because I feel confident I can speak to them. I'm hoping next year I'll be in a better position to do a lot more for WAVE at a political level. So anything that people want me to do, I'm more than happy to do it. I really am. And I know I've got the support of a fantastic team of people. They're all out there. There's Jay, there's Willie, there's everybody else, Debbie and that. Great people. And I know that together you'll carry this thing. Definitely. We'll achieve what we're out to achieve.
We will.
Definitely.
We will. 100%. Eddie, I'm just gonna remove you for a moment so we can add people back in. I think Scott had to leave for a moment and hasn't gotten to speak yet, but thank you. Oh, What was that, Eddie?
I say I need to go anyway because I've got to go pick my taxi up.
In that case, thank you so much for sharing today, Eddie, and we will look forward to seeing a bit more of you on Giving Tuesday itself, and look forward to seeing all the other stuff you do during this next month. But thanks so much for being part of the team and for joining today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye now. Bye. Bye.
Let me just add Scott back in. Sorry, Scott, that I know you had some technical difficulties there, and then we shuffled things around. Did you want to go next? I think we're still on the same question before you left, of kind of what achievements are you most proud of, or how has the 70/30 campaign kind of supported you?
Yeah, obviously I'm quite new to the 70/30 campaign, so I'm open to other sort of training. But like the stuff that I see, obviously Western Bartonshire and Edinburgh and all that sort of stuff, like I'm hoping to get that happening in Glasgow. I know that the MPs have been writing to the receptionist is getting back to me, and that's about it. So I'm just not going to give up. I'm like a dog with a bone sometimes, and I won't let go, man. And I'll just keep emailing them back and forward until they eventually listen. But I'm definitely open for a bit more training, and a bit more insight.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think you're in that, we've got a bit of an example really of a new ambassador. You've got kind of some of that background knowledge and can get started on things, but you know, it's an ongoing journey. You know, if I think of myself and Jay, for example, who've taken on a bit more of a senior role in whatever different way, you know, it's a journey through training to take on that responsibility and to be able to support people. And ultimately, I think being trauma informed is a key part of this, because when you're dealing with the ambassadors, when you're going into communities, you're coming into contact with people with their own histories, and you need to know how to approach them, how to support them in a way. And that's not a given. It's not a given, and you need the training and the support to be able to do that further down the line. And that's something that, you know, happens throughout the ambassador journey. So thanks, Scott, for that. Who hasn't shared yet? Will, Debbie, which one of you would like to go? Will's good to go? Oh, Will, it says you've muted yourself. Could you unmute yourself there if you want to talk? There we go.
Hi guys, yeah, well, the best part of being an ambassador for me, I've done various different training. I've done the early years masterclass with George Hoskins, which was a 3-parter, which was a very exclusive training course to be a part of and a privilege to be a part of. But the thing I enjoy the most is, since I've become an ambassador, is the strength and depth we have with the people around us. For years and years, my voice didn't matter, or it was full of shame, embarrassment, regret, whatever it was. So along with starting my peer support group 6 months ago, which is already at 1,200 members, and Jay having his ACE awareness group, it shows that the people out there are there to be informed, trauma informed, and that's why I became an ambassador. And if we've got any issues regarding trauma ourselves, then you've always got someone in the background ready to support you and help you out. So it's a great team to be a part of.
Sorry, I was on mute there myself. Thanks, Will. Debbie, are you still missing? There you go.
Yeah, I think the training that we get through the Wave Trust is absolutely priceless. Not only has it given me confidence to, you know, being able to speak to MPs and things that I would never dream of doing before, it really does give you the information that you need, the confidence that you need. It also, the training that we get as well, it helps us understand our journey and our trauma and other people's trauma. And as you said, Isabel, you know, you need to be aware of all the different types of trauma, because as ambassadors, we are going to come into, you know, into contact, and no contact, you know what I mean, and conversations with people that have got their own different types of trauma. So the training that we get allows us to have the knowledge, have the understanding, and have basically the capability to move forward and to help these people move forward as well. And then also to give us the power to get our voices heard. And to do what we need to do, you know, through Parliament, through, you know, all the big wigs, the big channels that we need to be getting through. So yeah, I think the training's priceless, and that's why we need to keep the training going. We need to keep the pennies coming in to make sure that as many of the ambassadors as possible can get into the training programs and get all this done, because the information, the learning and everything, as I said before, is just priceless. It really is.
Absolutely. Thank you, Debbie. Is there anyone I've missed, including anyone who's not currently in the stream? I'm just checking. Claire, had you spoken already? Can you give me a thumbs up if you'd spoken on this one? There we go. Okay, brilliant. Has anyone not gone? Jay, did you manage to share?
Is it the achievement?
Yeah.
Yep, without a doubt, it's Edinburgh getting the capital city to adopt the Prevention of Adverse Childhood Experience in Motion. To know that somebody as high profile as Sue Webber, MSP, the Shadow Drugs and Health Minister for the Conservatives, actually listened to my story, and consequently William with Councillor Joe Mott, to know that us two told our stories. And I think this is the biggest proof in the pudding, I think, for anybody listening. As we told our stories, we told it once. We didn't need to go over it and over it and re-traumatise ourselves. We told it once, and they were really, really good. They took it on board. They listened. They realised what they're today, and they put that motion in. And now to know that because we spoke and told our stories, that it's going to affect, the capital city of Scotland, and not just the people now, but for generations to come, is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's what more can you ask for?
The people in the capital, generations beyond, and even further than that, because we see an ongoing effect, as West Dunbartonshire and then Edinburgh, and it will keep growing, and it spreads beyond that once people show that it can work. So it's an even bigger achievement than that, Jay.
Absolutely, and it's just that validation, I suppose. I think all survivors go through this where, you're always seeking validation, or you didn't feel validated, and I think when you realise that, and you realise just how big it is, it's validation, and in a sense, it's my pain's been worth something at least. It's going to help my kids. My kids are looking up and seeing what I'm doing. My kids are seeing what we're all doing, and that can only be a good thing as well. So it's not just the achievement of getting Edinburgh, West Dunbartonshire, and anywhere else we get for here on in with any new ambassadors and current ambassadors, and hopefully we'll get loads of new ambassadors after this call, because I think it's been brilliant. Debbie, I think you should be on Good Morning Britain. But yeah, I think it's it just gives you a fire in your belly to keep on going, and I think a lot of survivors will resonate with this. A sense of purpose is missing, and once you get that, and it feels worthwhile what you're doing, then it's not going to make your life easier, but it does. It gives you a sense of validation, and a sense of you're worth something.
Absolutely. So we're nearly up an hour, so I don't think I'll ask a whole nother question for everyone. So I think we'll have everyone say goodbye in a moment, but I just wanted to do a quick reminder of the ways you can get involved. First of all, sign up and become an ambassador today. Please, please, please join the team. We'd love to work with you. We'd love to, join your passion with ours and see what we can do with it. Go to the WAVE website, www.wavetrust.org, and sign up there, or email Alex Williamson. It's awilliamson@wavetrust.org. You can also share your lived experience, if you have any, through Hearts of Ace. And again, it's heartsoface@wavetrust.org if you want to get involved there. I don't know exactly who will answer you, but it's likely to be Jay and possibly some of the other people on the call today. Donate. Every little bit helps, really, in any way, shape or form. Again, I've put the link in the comments as well for the exact link, but it's wavetrust.org, and you can just click the big red donate button there. Share your experiences, share your expertise. If you know more about ACEs, if you have that in-depth knowledge, we've been talking about the power of training. You can spread that. You can spread that across the UK and on a more global level. Please do bring that expertise to the table. And finally, share as much as possible. Share the videos we'll be showing of our own stories. Share this live stream. Share the link to the donate page. Share Wave Trust infographics. Share everything you can. Get the message out there. As I can't remember who it was now, but knowledge is power, as we've found out today. So please do get involved with Giving Tuesday, and don't forget, if you are sharing, to use hashtag Giving Tuesday, as that brings us into a much bigger audience, really, of many other generous people who are getting involved in the 30th of November in one way or another in making the world a bit of a better place. So yeah, how should we do this? We want to do one by one a little goodbye, and then I'll let people join back on the call. So things like Claire and Andy who are in the background there. We could maybe even use our tagline for this wonderful campaign, which is empowering communities to protect our children, because that's really what we're doing. We're empowering the local community to make a difference, to prevent harm from happening in the first place. Jay, you're not muted, so I'm afraid you're going to get first call there.
So yeah, thanks for listening in, everybody. As everybody said, please share if you can't donate, but donations are more than welcome. And yeah, hashtag empowering our communities to protect our children, because that is essentially what we're doing. We're protecting our children. So thank you for listening in. Please get involved. Please, whether it's a Hearts Race National Council lived experience or an ambassador, I think you've seen for everybody here just what it means to each and every one else. So thank you and take care.
Thanks so much, Jay, for joining. Anyone else want to go next? Will, go ahead. Oh, no, it's you again.
Hi guys, thank you very much for watching today. Please give us a share. And if you've been through any adverse childhood experiences or any trauma yourself, and you'd like your voice to matter, to count in the places it needs to be heard, then please come along and join us as an ambassador at Wave Trust or on Hearts of Race National Council of Lived Experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Will. Thanks so much for joining, Will, and thank you for organising. We didn't say this at the beginning, but Will has been absolutely key in organising the live stream for today, so thank you so much for making sure that happened, Will. Let me add Andy back onto the stream as well there. Okay, who wants to go next and say goodbye? Rob, go ahead.
Again, the voices resonate to me. I'd like to it's just giving. It makes sense. It's you know, empowering all our communities to have a voice, to protect our children, you know, to give adults voices, to be able to give their children voices. So remember, just giving, and it's just a given. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Rob. I know you joined halfway through and had lots of other things to do, so thank you for finding the time today. Wonderful to have you. Bye.
Bye.
We've lost Andy momentarily. I don't know if she's going to make it back, but if not, I will say goodbye on her behalf at the end. Does anyone else want to go in the meantime? Debbie, go ahead.
Yeah, just thank you for having me today as well. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that's joined in and listened or watched. So, yeah, please just share. Donate if you can. As I said before, every penny helps. And also this as well is for anybody that might be out there, you know, that has suffered ACEs, that has gone through trauma or is going through trauma at the moment. We are here for you. You're not alone. So please, even if it's just a case of you need somebody to chat to or somebody to talk to, please get in touch. You know, all the website details will be in the comments. Please get in touch. But apart from that, share away, donate, and talk. Let's get it done. Okay. Thank you.
Let's do it. Thank you, Debbie, so much for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Scott, do you want to go next? You good with that? There you go.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining in and speaking out. Share our pages. Share our just giving. By giving a little or giving a lot, it can help invest in your child's future generation, to stop them going through adverse child experiences. Speak up. We're all here and we've been through stuff, and that's the reason why we do these things. So share and give whatever you can, and we're all here for each other. As Wally would say, we're all stronger together. And thanks for letting me be part of it.
Thanks so much for joining, Scott. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments in the meantime. Andy was having technical issues, so I will say goodbye on her behalf. Thank you so much for sharing why you're passionate about this, Andy, and thanks so much for being part of the team. So, shout out from the rest of the team as you didn't get to say some last words. Claire, we've left the best for last. You're becoming a bit of an expert on our lives here.
Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. Thank you to everyone for coming. Obviously share. I'll be fundraising today on my page in the groups. And I just want to make it clear that every child matters and every child is worth it. So donate, even if it's just 50p. Just dig as deep as you can. And at the end of the day, we're stronger together. We've got to shout loud and proud, and it stops with us. So thank you for having me, Isabel.
Thank you, Claire. Thanks. Just the last couple of things. A reminder again for 7030's live stream this evening with Waves Trust CEO George Hosking on the prevention of violence and all of the work that comes with that. Wave Trust actually stands for Worldwide Alternatives to Violence, so it's going to be one of our best videos yet, so please do come along. I think we'll also be having Will and Jay on soon to talk about substance abuse and stuff as well in a couple of weeks, so do keep an eye on the 7030 page for some great content. Thank you for everyone who's joined, and please get involved with Giving Tuesday. Donate, share, become an ambassador. Hope to see you all. Thank you so much. Bye.